Switching over now. Good morning. Right now it is 9:58. It is a rainy, wet Monday, but that means you're going to have some fun. So maybe if you're looking for an excuse to maybe just pick up the phone and stay inside the house, or if you are, not going to work because the roads are flooded or wet, then this is an opportunity to learn. We're going to be talking to SOS Techs. It's IT business solutions, so you're going to be learning about everything that they have going on. We're going to go ahead and switch it on the FM right now, and I'm going to get them introduced. Feel free to share this out. If you are watching on Facebook, we're going to be having some fun. Stay tuned. Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. It is 9:59 on a Monday, a beautiful Monday morning. So I'm hoping that you are staying safe. Maybe you left for work a little bit early. Maybe you skipped work altogether. Either way, make sure that you are aware of your surroundings and that you are staying safe. But we have a guest in studio, and we're going to be learning about everything that they have going on. We got Mikey Lowe, and his wife, Melissa. What's up, guys? How's it going?
Hi.
Y'all doing good?
Yes,
oh, yeah.
Cold, wet.
Even in spite of everything, like the cold, wet, it's still a good day, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I love the rain. I come from...
You like it?
Oh, yeah. I come from a pretty dry place. So
Where are you from?
I'm from Amarillo, so if we're lucky, we can maybe get 10 inches a year. This
Yeah.
year was actually pretty good for them. But
Whenever I hear Amarillo, I automatically think of armadillos.
okay. They're everywhere. I was actually surprised to see them when I moved down here.
And George Strait, Amarillo by morning.
Yeah.
That song saved my life.
I keep telling him it's not actually Texas anymore because it's way in the panhandle, and those from the south are not used to that. The first time I went there, I woke up that morning and I said, are we in the same time zone? I feel like I'm so far away from home.
Actually, I think one of the first times we met, she had a shirt on that had a line that was like kind of dashed through Texas, cut it in half. And, of course, Amarillo is above the line, and it says Yankees.
No. It said y'all on the bottom, and then it said you all on the top.
Above the line.
Yeah.
So she calls me a Yankee sometimes because she doesn't technically count Amarillo.
It's such a big... It's so far away.
It is. When they say Amarillo by morning, if you leave anytime after 9 p.m., you're going to be there.
Yeah, and that's what happened. That song, it came on, and it, woke me up. It was like me and friends going on a road trip, and it's like, where are we going? Like, okay, and then the song's coming on as we're coming to Amarillo, and it was just a sign. It was a good day.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's like, thank you, Lord. I'm here, keeping me safe. So, again, it's 10:01 a.m. This is KHEA Radio. If you're watching on Facebook, hit the share button, and feel free to ask some questions. We got SOS Techs, IT Business Solutions here, and we got Mikey. This is a company. What all do you guys handle?
I mean, it's a lot of different things. It's anywhere from websites for social media and marketing down to just running a business. IT is such a crucial part of running a business, and the things that I like to tell people who need help with IT. I tell them, if you fall behind, your business is going to suffer if you can't get everything up to date, because it's a big part of how you operate your business.
Ethan had a good comment this morning, and Ethan's not on camera right now, but he's handling the switching and doing an awesome job. But you mentioned there's a very common fix. A lot of times, what is it?
Have you tried turning it off and turning it back on again?
Do you watch the IT Crowd?
IT Crowd. It's one of the best shows ever.
Wait, no, seriously though, have you seen that movie, the show?
I have not, but I've heard of it.
It's a British-based comedy.
It's on Netflix right now, and we were actually watching it last night because it's just a hilarious comedy.
So how often is that actually the case?
It is the case. that case solved when you just restart, and it blows my mind. I'm not going to put anybody out there, but a couple weeks ago, somebody called me, and they're like, my printer's not working. And I was like...
Was it my mom?
No, it wasn't. I was like, you got to restart your computer. Have you tried that? Well, it restarted yesterday. I was like, well, try restarting it today. And so, of course, they didn't. And I love them to death. They're one of my first customers, and so they're great to work with. But so I remoted in, and I kind of fidgeted around on there with some of the more advanced settings, and it didn't fix it. So I just told them, I was like, I'm just going to restart it. And they're like, do what you got to do. Restart it. It's working. I was like, cool, don't call me back.
Yeah. And people don't care what it takes as long as it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the truth, too, because I'll have people who have messed up their computer so much, I'll spend hours on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I finally get it working, and they're like, oh, thank you so much. Yeah.
But it's also like one of those careers that you realize when your electronics are not working, people get agitated. They get frustrated. People throw things. Like
It's me.
I'm a thrower. That's why I'm not allowed to play video games because I throw controllers. But you'll sit there and try to explain to somebody. I know it's taking. I've been working on it all day and I can't bring it back to you. Like your computer right now. It's just really complicated what's going on. And when people don't really understand the whole like technical side of it, they just don't get it. They don't. So they get frustrated.
Yeah, my wife, she'll have issues with the phone, and I do too. Automatically, first thing I do, I'm forcing this thing to quit, and I'm turning it back on. Like, if I don't have reception, I don't know how or why. It just, it'll work. My internet's not working. I'm turning it off.
It's a restart.
And it's funny because people say, I don't have service. I'm like, well, phones are notorious that once it loses service, it won't reconnect. You got to restart your phone.
Yeah.
And it fixes it.
So, when did you find yourself getting into business solutions, into IT, websites? When did you start getting interested in all that?
Well, when I was in high school, they had a center that was for advanced learners, and they had math, science, and then a specific trade that you could learn. So it's called ACAL, it was Amarillo Advanced Center for Advanced Learners or whatever. And
it sounds like something from that movie Zoolander. It was like the school for. Do you know what I'm talking about, Ethan? On Zoolander, where it's like the school with the ants. I don't know. I'm sorry. But it's an advanced school.
To be honest with you,
Okay.
It reminds me more of that Tim Allen movie with their kids are superheroes and send them to that advanced school.
Yeah,
I like that one better.
We're big Tim Allen fans.
But I went into the TIA certification, which is a computer certification, and graduated from high school. Already had certifications. They had engineering and nursing as well. But I was more interested in the web design, the graphic design, and the computer hardware stuff.
Yeah.
So I got out of high school, had all of that, went to college. Wasn't really sure what I was going to do. Then finally, one of my old teachers was working for a bank, and I was working for the same bank. He came, he's like, "What are you doing behind the teller counter?" He's like, "You don't need to be back here." He's like, "I know, we're gonna get you in." So they got me into the IT department, and really that's where my career kind of took off.
At the bank?
At the bank, yeah. It's
I'd be
called
like, I get to handle the money. It's like, okay, $1 for me, like $5 for you. Like, I'm making good money right here.
I think there's laws against that.
Well, if your math's bad, I was a cashier at one point, and no matter what, my drawer was always like over, just like a little bit or under, just like one or the other. I'm like, I don't know. I'm sorry.
I think there's mice in my cash drawer.
I'm counting exactly what it's telling me to give back. I don't know, but things happen.
Dollar bills stick together. And
yeah.
So
that's what it is.
And after that, I decided that I was going to move to Houston, and I moved here. Got a job working for a Ford dealership. Was kind of outgrowing my shoes there, and so I decided that I was tired working for somebody. I'm going to start for myself.
All right.
So, and that's kind of about the same time that I met Mel, and she's kind of been my guide on how to get it rolling, helping me with social media, trying to get all of that rolling. And then because she's so good with her social media and marketing and all of that, I actually decided, you know what, I'm going to throw in digital design. And she handles all of that for me. So
cool.
Somebody needs a website, somebody needs social media, graphic design. She's got the creative mindset for that.
And all that stuff is very important if you have a business or a message, or you just want to, I don't know, just to have it. Like a social media presence. It can make or break a business if your stuff is good and nobody sees it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting the way that our business has evolved since our dating and getting married and starting a family and all of that. When I first met him, it was he could go into a building and actually do the physical cabling that goes
that I had no idea any of this. I just knew there was a plug that you put your computer into or you plugged your phone in. Never really thought about where those lines were coming from. And they all come from like one room in a building. And so now that I've experienced that one room and running those lines, we just did a homeless outreach center in Houston. And it was a large 2-story building. And so his brother and I were running cables like through the rafters of the buildings. And I remember the first time we started doing it, I looked at it, I was like, wow, so that's how all of this happens. But, so he does everything from the physical, getting you physically connected to your devices. And then a lot of times companies will say, well, hey, since you're in this field, somebody who designs websites or can help us get our social media started. And so that's kind of where my side of the business kind of just jump started, because I don't know how to say no. I was like, yes, we could do it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. And so I've got quite a few clients that I help. They're usually small businesses. That's kind of who I focus on right now, because I appreciate a small business. My wife is a small business owner. So people these days, they think IT should cost an arm and a leg to keep them running. But small businesses can't really afford that. So that's where I kind of come in, and I have package solutions for them that are relatively inexpensive for a whole month. And you can call me if you're at home and you're like, I can't get my emails at home. I'm like, okay, well, let me remote in. So I have remoting tools and all of that to really just help small businesses without really hurting their bank accounts. Because it's like I said, it's one of those things that if you want to be a small business, you kind of have to be ahead of the time to continue to roll.
Yeah, and then sometimes I guess if you don't know, or it's somebody that is being oversold, like you don't really need all this. You don't need a Ethernet plug in every room or on every side of the wall. Where do you set up? And that's just extra cost and expense that just being straight up and honest with somebody, like what are you realistically trying to do? And then helping them. Like here in our building, there's wires and cables. The only, like all over. The only thing is that this building was built in 1994, and no cables were ever removed, like ever. So the original cabling, and then we're just like, we need new cable. So let's run new cable.
Pull new ones. Yeah, and that's the thing that we go back to the Hope Center a lot, because that was kind of like my really first big project. They had the building was built in '74. And so once coax became a thing, there was coax cable all over that place for
looked like a jungle.
For video cameras, for alarm systems. Their cable TV. They had a telephone room in there, and floor to wall was just old, punch down 60 blocks for their phones, and I was just like, this is a mess. And they're like, we're getting rid of this room. I mean, I probably pulled out maybe 8,000 feet of cable.
Yeah.
From their from their first floor.
Have you ever been to the gym where they have that big rope that's on that continuous spindle thing, and you're just sitting there pulling? That's literally what he was.
Pulling that cable out.
It was a week's worth of pulling out that cable. It was probably 800 or 900 pounds of cable.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was bad. And that's just like what you say. It's just a buildup of people like, we'll just leave it. We don't need it.
Yeah.
But that potentially can cause risks. When it comes down to fire safety.
All kinds of
stuff. All that
stuff.
stuff's going to burn in the roof.
Yeah.
So that's also another aspect is the cleanup. I'll do cable cleanup for businesses and things like that.
That's cool. Yeah, I'll see sometimes like before and after. I'm in a telephone technician. I used to work for AT&T some years ago. Yeah. So like going to apartments and punching down blocks and phone rooms, and I need my internet, everything else to climb like everything. But you'll see before and afters, like somebody comes in, it's a mess. It looks like a spider's, web, bird's nest. And then afterwards, there's something about it. It's so soothing, like when it's all, zip tied and just runs. It's like, I wonder how long it's going to stay that way.
Yeah.
Like nobody go in the room.
Nobody do anything.
Nobody touch the closet.
Yeah. There's actually a term for that. I don't really want to say it.
Yeah, me either. I know. Okay, I know exactly the term, and I was trying to think of the way to go around it, but
there is no way around it.
That's kind of like how the name SOS I have no idea what y'all are talking about.
That's okay.
That's how SOS kind of came about when he's talking about, people calling him and he can remote in. And then you have all of these, you show up to a job and you're just like, where are these cables coming from? Because they're
Yeah.
they're everywhere. And so our whole branding basically is emergency, last minute, after hours, on the weekends. Your cable goes out right before football Sunday, or
Like the Astros game, something went wrong. I'm trying to stream it on my device.
Yeah.
I need the internet.
They're getting really tricky with that now. You can't even like cast the TVs on your phone.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, well,
It knows.
I was like, how do you know that I'm trying to cast this right now?
Yeah.
They're like
The
Apple
government's
TV.
everywhere.
Yeah. So I'm just like, just get the laptop out. It's time to just HDMI that.
Yeah.
Old school.
How long have y'all been married now?
10 months.
First I was like 10 years. I was like, I feel like I just got
Yeah.
married.
Yeah.
I saw some-
We got
January
married when we were
26th.
15, Yeah.
Okay, 10 months. How has it been? How has that journey been, especially, with Strawberry Hill upcycling and then, your business and then also working together, managing, newlywed life, managing, a new family and then also like businesses. How is that? Is it easy? Is it fun?
Don't do it. I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say it's all rainbows and puppies. No, we're a good balance. We became best friends before we started dating, and so we were able to figure out how to communicate together. We also did we did our love language before, right? Like when we were engaged and planning on getting married, and so we're both very conscientious of how we speak to each other, and we have roles. Like, he has a role in his business, I have a role in my business, and then we have a role in our business together. And, you leave it at the door when you walk into the house at night, because you have 3 dogs that you have to take care of, so you can't think of anything else.
Yeah.
But, it took us a little while to find our moving and grooving, and especially living together, because we didn't live together before we were married, and there were socks
Learning
everywhere.
to live together. Yeah.
And, boy things. So,
We say that's like a bad thing. There's girl things everywhere too.
yeah, but I'm used to that. It's been fun. It's been fun.
And y'all met through the dogs. You mentioned y'all have 3 dogs. If I remember a little bit of the story, can you share that again? Like, how did y'all meet?
So about just over 2 years ago, I hosted a yappy hour at Chuck's Sports Bar for the Dog Park Association, trying to get millennials. I was 20. I had just turned 28, like 2 days before I turned 28. And everybody that serves on the board, and that's part of the association, is 50 plus. And so I was just trying to find friends that I could get involved, younger people in the community to help us. This was before the dog park had our grand opening. And so all of these people came walking up because the Yappy Hour had just started, and he looked like he came up with a group because he looked like the group, Texas man. Anyway, so
Amarillo boy with the beard. Drove up in a Ford.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they both had trucks. I was like, oh, they're all together. And so I was like, hi, I'm Melissa with the Dog Park Association. And I kind of gave our spiel because it wasn't really a fundraising event. It was just like a social event. And so I told them about the drink specials. And then I went and sat down with my group of girlfriends. There were like 7 or 8 of us at a table. And then he follows me and comes and sits down at the table with all of the women. And on top of that, he has a 12-pound dog.
She's tiny.
She's a lap dog. She's a little princess is what she is, and she's the duplicate of my dog. And he took her off the leash and said, "Charlotte, be a princess." And she stood up and twirled around.
Yeah, her trick is ballerina.
Yeah.
So she'll just spin around.
And he stayed to help me that night clean up, and then text me the next day with some bogus question that had nothing to do.
No, it was
I
actually
think
I was
about
just
the
like
beer that we drank.
Yeah, it was just because it was the beer of the night was Ridgeback.
Which was
Just asking clarification.
Yeah,
on
and I was
that.
like, hey, I hated
what's
the
funny
beer
is we
was
both
awful.
hated the beer.
But I was like, I gotta talk to this woman. I was like, I need to figure out how I can kind of ease into a conversation with her. So I was like, hey, what was the name of that beer y'all had on special? Yeah, I haven't bought it since.
No,
Yeah.
it's
I had.
nasty.
It's awful.
So you knew from that moment, you're like, hey, there may be something there.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, sort of. My girlfriends were kicking me under the table because I was the only single one at the time, and that's their job to, hook the single girl up. But we started fishing. He asked me to go fishing with him, and that was kind of we're both super outdoorsy because we can take our dogs with us. So yeah.
Hey, here's a question. This is from Jazz, and the answer is yes. She said, hey, Is that the chick from the fancy store? Are you the fancy store?
I certainly hope so.
That is correct. Can you share, because it's the name of the business?
Strawberry Hill Unique Upcycling Boutique in Link City. We take vintage and antique home decor and furniture and gifts, and we flip it, chalk paint, milk paint. If you go to our Facebook page, the City of Lake City just did a video of us and posted it last night as the Heart of Lake City to celebrate our 5-year anniversary. So, yes, I hope I am the fancy store.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the video. Great job. Very cool.
Thank you.
I shared it out. I actually messaged Lake City. I was like, I sent a message, and let me check right now. And I hope they didn't leave me on red. I was like, what's up, Lake City? We do a lot of stuff I'd love to be able to cross-promote, especially when we talk about Lake City businesses. Mm-hmm. So fingers crossed.
Their social media is getting really good.
It is.
Their promotion is getting really good. But as with everything, because they're a big government corporation, you gotta keep emailing, keep calling, kind of be relentless. You can, annoy some people, but hey, you get it done. We got a video done.
Yeah. And it looks good. So congratulations on that, and make sure you go watch it. Strawberry Hill Unique Upcycling Boutique. I also shared it on KHEA Radio's page, so you can go watch it there as well.
Thank you.
And then we have SOS Techs, IT Business Solutions, here in studio with Mikey Lowe. And we've been learning about that in Melissa Lowe, who is his wife, and y'all kind of are a team now.
Well, and that's kind of part of the digital marketing side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Some of our businesses that I do our social media for, they're like, hey, how do I even get connected with the city? And I'll be like, I'll cold call. I have no problem with cold calling the city video production website.
She's a go-getter.
Yeah,
for sure.
then that's part of the marketing side. So if I'm not going to do it for myself, why in the world, I'll do it.
Is that easy for you to do, Mikey? Is that something that you naturally would be like, yeah, let's go, knock on the door, call?
Yeah, and I'm not so against it.
I think for some things you're really good at it.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to the finding wholesalers or reps for the physical products that we need for that side of the business, because exactly what you're talking about. Like we both have our different passions when it comes to that side of the business.
She likes to call people and just get things done. I'm more of the, let me see what I can find for the best solution, and I'll get people on it for you. So, I have lots of vendors and distributors now because of SOS Techs, and so if people, we're also trying to get into like the home office and home business also. So if people
Security cameras.
Yeah, security cameras, things like that. We're getting into that.
Yeah, that's cool, and it's important. And now all of that stuff is working with technology, with apps,
Google
doorbells,
I have
cameras.
one of my vendors who works with Google Home, so you can hook it up to your TV and be like, "Hey Google, show me garage camera or whatever," and then it'll put it up on the screen for you.
Wow.
Or show me baby room, and it'll bring it up on the screen
It
for
takes
you.
parenting to a whole new level.
It does. Takes security to
Helicopter.
Yeah, helicopter.
What's going on right now?
He says I'm going to be a smother. Do y'all watch the Goldbergs?
No, I haven't seen.
That show is
my God.
hilarious.
Is that the '80s one?
Yes.
I've seen like previews for it, but I haven't watched
Oh,
it.
you got to watch it. He says
When
that's
we
what I'm going to be.
first started dating, that's what we kind of jumped into together, and I was just like, if she can dig a good comedy, this has got to be the one. And like she started off with Goldbergs, and it was constant. We were laughing. It's a great show.
I think
Goldbergs is a good family.
The
fun.
theme song is still his ringtone on my phone.
Yeah.
That's cool. Ethan is 17, but like he doesn't. I don't know if he would get like the '80s like references. Does it have like a lot of references, or just like comedy, funny stuff?
Yeah. It does.
What's that car from the movie?
The DeLorean?
Yes.
For Back to the Future?
Yeah. They
so there's a couple of
featured Back to the
episodes on
Future.
that, and I mean, some of the stuff is kind of lost. I was born in the '80s. He wasn't. He likes to say we were born in two different generations or decades.
2 different decades. Yeah.
We're part of 2 generations.
Weird.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 28 actually.
Okay.
She's 30. I just turned. Well, we both.
I'm
just
29
turned-
forever.
Yeah.
It's
There's
like right
nothing-
there.
Yeah.
At that, it doesn't even
It
matter
is, it
anymore.
doesn't.
And then especially once you're like
I'm still
around
more
30, it's
mature.
just like, it's whatever.
Excuse
It's more mature.
Don't challenge me.
Hey, I saw Chevy tuned in
Oh,
here.
hi, Chevy.
Kingston DeVille, and I believe
Chevy.
that you had mentioned that he was your photographer.
Our wedding photographer,
It
yeah.
was.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Is he
him
easy
and
to
his
work
wife.
with?
His wife was there. She took care of Mel's side of the photography, and he took
Yeah,
care of
it was
mine.
super. Our wedding was really it was awesome. There were 20 people there. That's it.
Yeah.
It was, and Chevy and his wife were so good, and they partied with us and danced, and so yeah, we really enjoyed working with them.
He just announced a wrestling show on
I saw
was
that
wondering
Saturday
what those
night.
pictures
he
were.
was. He's gonna do it again. I think from.
in November.
Yeah, he's gonna be doing it again.
Yeah, I saw the one clip he shared
He
at
looked
the end. He was
dapper.
like,
He had yeah.
wrestling. I was like, he's made. He can do everything. He's made for this.
Yeah, he's jack of all trades.
Yeah, he is. He also had mentioned that his wife, I think, got him into photography to begin with. That she was the one who knew how to do photography. And
Really?
then she taught him.
Oh
how to
yeah,
do
yeah. I think she enjoyed like film photography for the longest.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. I don't remember quite off the top of my head. I just like going to him for his barber skills.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
has really good haircut.
You know, he does a straight razor. He gets me nice and clean. I don't look like a homeless person.
Not for too long.
Yeah.
Hey, how long have you been growing your beard?
So this is actually, I haven't seen my face probably since high school.
So she has never seen your face except
No,
for like in
she doesn't-
pictures.
No.
I won't let him take it off. I
Yeah.
love it.
Well, it looks good. That's a good beard.
Well, thank you.
What do you put in
Appreciate
it?
it.
Do you put anything in it?
He
just-
blow dries
I
it.
just blow dry and brush it out.
Yeah.
Some beard oil.
It was funny because I used
Let
to
me
just
straighten
kind
it
of
one time.
I used to just kind of comb it out, and didn't, I'd still have the waves and all that stuff, and I was like, oh, what can I do? And then it wasn't until we finally got married and we moved into our house, she had a pink Conair blow dryer.
It's like it's just right there. Like,
Yeah,
I see it in the corner of your eye.
And I
like-
was just like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. I wake up one morning, I turn that bad boy on, and I'm like, oh, and came out nice and full, and I was like, all right, this is the way. This
It's
is
like shaking your face
Yeah.
back and forth.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure the first
like
time
it's like
he
the girl
did
that
it.
comes out of the water and she flings her hair
Oh my
back.
gosh. The first time that he picked it up, I heard it in the other room. I was like, can
who's
the
using
dogs
this?
turn on the blow dryer? And then I walked around and I peeked around the corner. And sure enough, he's blow drying.
We're just nothing.
Yeah.
I
Nothing
didn't
to see
say
here.
anything.
Actually, I think I broke her. She's
It's
had
broken
that.
now.
Yeah, that.
We had to get a
that-
new one, and it's not pink.
Yeah, she had it for like I don't know how long.
10 years.
10 years.
Oh man,
And then
well, it was time.
Yeah.
Hey,
it was.
you ever see any of those sponsored posts show up on your social media feeds for like those straighteners?
Oh, the beard
with the
straighteners?
combs.
Yeah,
and
I see them all the time. They're probably going to show up on my phone now that we're
Yeah.
talking about it.
Have you ever tried one or seen
I
one?
haven't. And
I always
there's
think it's a
so many-
scam.
I do too. Like, there's so many different people out there. Like, I'll see one for one sponsorship, and everybody's like, "Oh, this is great," and then like a couple days later, I'll see a different one, but it looks exactly the same. And
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, this one's crap. Go look at the other one. That one's way better." And I'm like,
It's the exact same.
"What's going on?" Yeah. it was
Or
just
my
like,
favorite is you'll look at it and there's like 5 different products in the one video,
Right.
and I was like, it looks slightly different, but you don't see. But I'm looking at the beard, and it's like, oh, the beard looks great before
Yeah.
and after, and then you read the comments. Always read the comments.
Yeah.
Always read the
Always.
reviews. It's very important.
Yeah,
So
those
you don't get
sponsored
scammed.
ads, they'll get you if you're not careful.
Yeah.
But I want to get him one of those beard straighteners.
Yeah.
She did straighten it. It looked weird. It looked more like
I
whiskers
have a chunky straightener, so it didn't work so
than
well.
it did like a beard, because it just kind of went
It's so
kind of like flared out a
coarse
little
and
bit.
thick, too. Like,
Yeah.
it's so different than the hair on your head.
Hey, here's another question, and we referenced it. Ethan was like, "Hey, I got that shirt. He has the same shirt," and you were like, "Oh, we went through a lot of shirts." And Jazz wants to know if did you help pick out his outfit, like the shirt and hat combo today?
Yeah, I mean, he said all of my shirts are wrinkled, and I handed him this shirt and said it's not wrinkled, and he said, "Oh, okay, you already had the hat on."
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I was
approved
actually
it
gonna wear
before he
a
walked
Toy
out the
Story
door.
shirt, like, because I love Toy Story, and she bought me this shirt from Target, and it was the Pizza Planet and the little aliens, and then the Pizza Planet
It's super cute.
icon.
Yeah.
And so it's just a white with the red label, and I was just like, oh, I want to wear this one. This is so me. And then I was just like, eh.
But his
Ain't gonna work.
style is
Yeah.
so much fun. He's like me, because some days we're super Western and we both have our cowboy hats on, and then other days we're like both super hipster. So our styles range really well. Like I'm
Can't say
not
hipster.
lying.
That's
I
mean.
can't say hipster. I really did marry my best friend because we are so much alike when it comes to just the ebb and flow of things.
Yeah. Where do y'all see yourself in like even 5 years? With the
Hopefully
businesses.
Yeah.
Kids, maybe another dog or two.
Yeah.
You already have 3.
Well,
Yeah.
we have two, and we have a sister. I guess it belongs to both your sister and your brother now. We were supposed to dog sit for a couple of weeks while some people were figuring some things out in their lives, and we've had him for 9 months.
Yeah. He wasn't supposed to be.
It's just your dog now.
He's
It's just your dog now.
But I mean,
Before you-
he's just he's a sweetheart dog,
adorable.
and he's actually he loves to play. He doesn't know how big he is. He's one of those kinds of dogs, but he's also protective. Like
Very protective.
If something were to happen in the night, he would let us know. So I mean,
He's a German Shepherd Husky mix.
Mhm.
High energy, really high alert on everything.
Sounds like it's a big dog.
He's 85 pounds.
Yeah, he's 85
man.
pounds. He's a big one.
Yeah, my sister has a German Shepherd, and she has another dog, and I can't remember what kind it is, but I thought that dog was big. And then the German Shepherd, who he's still kind of growing,
Yeah,
showed up. And
They never stop.
Wow.
Well, it also depends on the bloodline on those German Shepherds too, because we were at the dog park a couple weeks ago, and this lady brought her German Shepherd in and was even bigger than he was.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, goodness, these dogs are huge.
Yeah.
Those are definitely the wolf breed, like it's just he's a phenomenal dog
sweet.
though. He's hard
But
headed
he
though.
does need to be rehomed.
She keeps hinting at that every time.
It's just
When's your brother gonna take him?
I have an autoimmune disorder, and so when I'm I run the boutique, and this time of year it's getting cold, so my body hurts just a little bit. We extended our hours. I'm just tired,
Yeah.
and I'm not even a mom yet. I'm tired.
Then you can just ride the dog around. Like if you're tired, you can just get on the back.
mean, he'll
to the kitchen.
He loves to be loved on too. So
Yeah.
when he loves on you, he'll just
It's
he'll
aggressive.
bury underneath your legs. So you're pretty much on top of him, like you're about to ride him like a horse. Like that's
He needs to
that's
be
just how he
with
is.
a single man who can take him to the park or run with him, and we love him, but we are not the right family for him.
Yeah.
So if anybody's looking to adopt,
But he is rambunctious.
yeah,
No, we're not gonna give him away. We'll make sure our family takes him back. But
Yeah. She's like looking like, we'll see. Whatever happens first.
it's been 9 months.
Yeah.
yeah, no, and that's one of the things too. Is we're gonna make sure, because if we do plan on having kids, he is a jumper kind of guy. So you kind of have to be careful. Like if she is pregnant for whatever reason, we still have him.
Yeah.
I can't have that.
Yeah.
But he's a loving dog. He's not a bad dog in any way.
Yeah.
So
How many kids are y'all gonna have? Is that up in the air? I know that's a funny question, but
I think we kind of decided on 4,
Yeah.
mainly because I'm a middle child.
yeah.
And it sucked. I mean, it wasn't bad, right? Like
Yeah.
I was the middle child, and I was always either as my brother's name is Courtney, my sister's name is Aaron. It's like Courtney, Aaron. I'm like, really? Like you can't go and you're trying to yell at me,
Always
but you
got
can't even
skipped
get
out.
my name first.
Yeah.
Or
You were the last one.
and it's funny. I make fun
You're
of
the
my
line.
family for this. I'm like, oh yeah. They're like, hey, are you coming to blah blah blah? And I'm like, no, I didn't know about it. Oh well, it's tomorrow. And I'm like, yep, there's
He
the
never
middle
gets
child
invited
again.
to
You know.
anything. And then I'm one of 2, and
Mm-hmm.
my sister went her own way several years ago. We're actually the same age. We were adopted from different families, and we were raised as twins. And I haven't spoken to her in about 8 years, and so there's nobody left for me to talk to because my parents didn't adopt another kid.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't want to have 3. I don't want to have 2. I definitely don't want to have one because my mom's an only child, and I've seen how that turns out.
yeah.
So
Okay. I'm gonna say this. 4 is a lot of kids.
Well, okay, so we're really big into wanting to foster and adopt because I'm adopted.
Yeah.
So what we see when we've talked about it, what we see our future is adopting sibling sets. So that what's that movie where you become instant parents? Having at least one child of our own. Because being adopted, I do want to have something DNA that's that's me passed on, and him passed on. But definitely, we want to adopt sibling sets. Big family.
Yeah. My wife just texted me and said 4 is perfect because
Ah.
that's what she wants. 4 kids, and I'm like, that's a lot.
She's pregnant with number 3, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm good with that. But I'm like, 4 is a lot. I was like, oh my gosh, there's already so many of them.
Even
and I
if
love
she's
them.
saying 4, I'm like, kudos to her because
She's-
we don't have to do any other work.
Yeah.
She's gonna if she wants to carry 4 times.
I really wish I could just see how my body goes. With autoimmune disorder, you never know.
Yeah.
So I mean, we'll see. We'll see what God has planned, babe.
That's true. At the end of the
down for
day,
that, yeah.
it's what he allows to happen, or
Yeah.
if it works, adoption or fostering, anything else, and it just kind of happens. When you know, and if things fall into place.
Right.
Yeah,
So
they really do. But we do love kids, so We went to Froberg's farm the other night to do the corn maze.
Surrounded by kids.
We didn't realize that, one, we don't get to go out on dates very often because we're just super busy. But two, when we do go out on dates, it's like adult places. We're never surrounded by kids. I used to coach kids, and he's been involved in kids sports and stuff his entire life. So it's weird now that we're adults and we don't have kids that we never do anything around kids. So when we went there the other night, it was just, to me, it was so pleasant. It was loud. It was so loud.
Even outside in the corn?
Oh, yeah. No, and that was even worse because kids are like trying to be spooky sounding and they're popping out of, I don't know if you saw my live video on Facebook, but have you ever seen the movie Signs?
Yes.
Okay, so you know
one of my favorites.
That scene where you like they just pan over and there's the floodlight on the cornfield and you just see the alien foot stepping into the cornfield.
Yeah.
That's all I thought about the entire time. It freaked me out.
Were any kids doing that? That's what I'd be doing, like just
no,
like
they
sticking
had
my
it,
foot out.
They had it netted off.
Yeah,
Thank
they were
goodness.
just like, most of the kids were just kind of like howling or like barking or being weird.
Yeah.
Being kids.
Some were playing Marco Polo, and I was chiming in on that.
Oh yeah, we were messing everybody up.
It was funny. But that corn maze was probably they gave us a map.
But you have to really pay attention to it.
Get lost.
So they give you a maze, but like, you know how like when you do a maze, there's like a block that you go through, right? Like there is a path. Well, their paths were just the lines. So I think people were taking that and just trying to go through what would have been like empty space that you would on a regular maze in like a coloring book. I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but like, so we're trying to follow like just the line, but there's like 2 sunflowers and that they made in the corn maze. Like, it was like a really, it was an advanced maze, that's for sure. Like, it was just.
But there's no markers to tell you,
You're
know.
here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Is there service out there, like cell phone service?
Yeah, there was cell phone service.
But there's no lights.
There should be an app. There should be like an app where it's like, this is where I'm at right now.
Yeah,
Help.
Was there anybody, yelling? Because I could see myself as a kid, like out there being like,
freaking out.
Yeah, there were
Dads
adults.
were going around saying, "This is so stupid. I'm sick of this. Why did we do this? I told you we shouldn't have done this."
Yeah.
But it was a blast. I mean, it took us like, we probably spent an hour in there trying to get out of that. Because she was like, "Oh, we don't need a map." So she like folds it up, puts it in her pocket, and we start walking.
Thought that it would be that complicated.
And then we get to a point where like she's getting frustrated. It's getting a little hot.
I got
My
anxiety.
glasses are falling off my face because I'm sweating.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, pull that map out. We're getting out of this because I want some s'mores. Like, we're gonna go get some roasted marshmallows. And then eventually, she kind of gave in and was like,
I'll just follow you.
And that was that. Like we took the map out, and it was.
And you finally made it.
Well, because we were like, okay, like if you walk this way, there's dead ends there, and then there's dead ends over there, and then you look on the map and you're like, oh, that could be a lot of different places.
Yeah.
So then you go a little further,
and then you're trying to listen to like where the entrance is, but there's just kids everywhere. It's too
loud.
loud.
Well, what threw us off was it was like a Girl Scout troop showed up, and there was like 10 little daisies that were in front, and then like all of their parents were kind of behind them.
It was a mob.
It was a mob, and it was the funniest thing too because they had on their vests. And I was like, they look like tiny little Walmart employees. They had on like these blue vests, and I was like, they're so cute. And like they were just everybody walked in, and then anybody who came in after them, it was just like a constant like dead stop.
So you kept like trying to get around the large groups. I mean, the daisies and all the other ones. So you were trying to avoid them and get around them, so you weren't stuck behind them. And then pretty soon you're like, well, we don't know where we are now.
Yeah, like you're like, oh, this is dead end, so you got to go back, and then they're there again. So I don't know what happened, but we eventually got lost from them, so that was fine.
I wonder if they're still there.
Oh,
if they ever made it out.
They're probably
they're Girl Scouts. They should be able to figure out how to survive,
They're 6.
right?
They'll figure it out. Well, they were either Walmart employees or Girl Scouts, but either way, they got it.
My favorite was there was a mom following, I guess maybe her kids or maybe she was an aunt, and they were screaming like, "We don't know where to go!" And she was following behind them. She goes, "We need to find the real adults." And then she stopped at us. I'm like, I'm not a real adult. Keep moving.
Keep going. Keep going. Looking. So right now it's 10:37 a.m. This is KHEARadio.com, 99.5 FM. If you're watching on Facebook, feel free to share this out. Let me know if you have any questions. We're talking to Mikey Lowe and Melissa Lowe with Strawberry Hill Unique Upcycling Boutique, also with SOS Tech's IT Business Solutions. Are you based in League City for that as well? And I guess what's the area that you cover?
I mean, I've got clients right now in Rosenberg, Texas. They're an HVAC company, and we're slowly getting them up to date on everything because they had fallen behind the times.
Mm-hmm.
They also didn't have any real network out there, and so I was kind of a liaison to get them fiber through AT&T.
That's awesome.
So we helped build that for them, and then we were getting them computers. It's been a lengthy process because with them being HVAC, it was in the middle of summer, so they were super busy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I mean, they're a great company. Custom Comfort Air is who they are, and they're pretty well known around the area too. But so there's all those
Rosenberg. We've gone out to Spring. You know, that's the premises of SOS. Is you need us, we'll figure it out.
So yeah, always just contact, give you a call, social media, email, and then you'll kind of see what they have going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the other question I have, and I think I know the answer, but if somebody calls you, it's no two businesses or solutions are going to be exactly the same, maybe
Right.
pretty similar, but it's usually like a custom case. Because I was going to ask, what's like the first thing if somebody's like, I need help, but I don't know where to start? Is there like something you could say like, this is generally where you start? But I don't know. Is that fair or no?
I mean, in what sense? Like,
Well, anyway,
like their computer isn't working, or
well, let's say like I'm thinking like if it's a business and it's like I'm behind on the times, I don't know what to do. Like, what's going on?
So they, we schedule with them and we come out to wherever they are, and whether it's
Come do an
needing to do the physical cabling or they're wanting to start their digital marketing or anything like that, we come to them. Our consultation is completely free. We have a meeting tonight and we're doing it at Starbucks. We go to them, we look at it, and we listen. The biggest thing is that we tell businesses, whether it's structural cabling that they need or they're wanting to do marketing, you need to know where your business is, what your goal is, and what's your 5-year plan. Where do you see yourself? And that kind of gives us a gauge of how big they want to grow or how small and how local they want to stay. So we sit and we listen.
Yeah.
and then as far as like even just that, their growth, but we're very conscientious, I guess, of people's budgets.
Yeah.
We like to make sure that if they're wanting to upgrade, we don't hit them with a big upgrade that's gonna
Too much
set
too
them
soon.
back.
There's stages to this.
So we try to just make sure that first off their hardware is up to date. Because if your hardware is behind, I don't know if people know this, but this is kind of like a free tip for everybody out there. Windows 7 is going to stop being supported in January, so they're not going to support Windows 7. If you have Office 365, they're going to stop supporting Office 365.
What Windows are we on now?
On Windows 7, Windows 10.
We're on 10 still?
Yeah,
I remember
Some
when
of
that came
us.
out.
I still refuse.
I love Windows 10. People hated it when it first came out, but I have to grow with the time.
Yeah.
And there's so many companies out there that if you're buying their programs and their software and you're using them to operate your business, they will stop supporting it.
Yeah.
That's why in Rosenberg, that's why we had to upgrade them, because their HVAC software was only going to be compatible with Windows 10.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing that I have learned from starting this business with him, because I don't have the IT, that technical background, is the inability or people not wanting to change, because they've done something with their business for so long. They've had their computer for so long. It's always operated this way. People know that it's not working the way that it should, but they've got to get to the point where they're like, okay, it's time to relinquish this, and I've got to change.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
That's tough. No one likes change, especially
No.
like even
I'm
like
Baptist.
iPhone updates.
We don't like change.
It's like everything's gonna be the same time. I'm out.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
And even when it comes, like, if people are up with the times, they've got new computers, they've got best bandwidth they can for their company to operate. People, they also sometimes don't consider the outside, right? So security, huge thing nowadays. Security with everything being so integrated with internet nowadays, you've got to protect your business, even your homes, with security, firewalls, things like that. And there's there's new equipment coming out that I like to tell people about, and it's one of those things where, yeah, you might think that you're not going to get an attack because you're so small and so little, but that's who's being targeted, are the small companies, because they know you're not going to have that because you have that mentality.
Mm-hmm.
You're the first people that are going to be seen by
I mean,
those.
look at your personal Facebook page. Everybody's personal, that's only one person on their page, has started to become attacked by hackers. And it's the same premise with small businesses, too.
Yeah, and especially with a lot of social media needing, like, hey, we need a form of payment. Like, for what? And what am I buying through Facebook?
Yeah, and it's fake.
Yeah.
Well, 9 times out of 10 it can be fake. But
Yeah.
and that's one of those things that a lot of people need to understand, that you're not going to get a court summons through your email. You're not going to get an eviction notice through your email.
The IRS is not going to contact you through email.
What if there's like a
IRS.
prince from another country that wants to leave me their like inheritance?
Don't give him
and
any
that's
money.
funny. I saw a meme about that. It said, well, maybe Prince so-and-so does that. And he's like, there's this like
He's
sad.
all this money.
Yeah, he's sitting on some money. He's like really sad.
Nobody
and I'm like,
returns my
yeah. But, and that's one of those things too, is like you could be turned into a potential risk very quickly. And it's not even just an outside risk coming in. It's, let's say you open an email that had a virus in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you've just uploaded that to your computer, and you're now
blasting it out to everybody else.
Yeah, they've now got your email, and they're sending out hundreds and hundreds of thousands of email within hours. Because you are a small company, you have nothing to monitor that. And then all of a sudden, guess what? You're blacklisted, and the internet has literally shut down your email because people are marking you as spam. So that's one of the things too, is it's not to protect you from people. It's also to protect you from or them from you. You know, because you
and
can
irritating
potentially
customers and clients.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're
people
like,
don't
I've
like
already
that.
paid this. You're like, what? They, with my last job that I worked for somebody, that happened. Like our internet or our emails kept getting rejected because we were blacklisted because an employee opened
the wrong email.
Yeah, he said, "Well, I've been." The thing was, he's like, "I've been battling with Dish Network. I thought they were suing me." I was like, "They're not going to send you." And that's what it was. They're not going to send you a court summons via email.
So I got an email the other day, and I won't say which one, but let's just say there's somewhere in our area that is, I'm trying to think of the right way to say this. Like it's a chamber of commerce. There was a chamber of commerce. There was no other way I could say it. And we got an email, and it looked like a Dropbox link, which is totally, we do a lot of stuff with everybody around here. And you clicked on it, and then it wanted you to log in, like with a password and like create an account. And I was like, so I went back and I sent an email. I was like, hey, what's up with this? It wants me, to log in. It doesn't look too legit, but coming from you, they said, don't open this, like exclamation point.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about all of the people that got that email.
Yeah.
And there are red flag warnings out there. Like if you don't pay attention to the sender, like who it's coming from, sometimes it'll just say like Chamber of Commerce, but if you click on the little tiny drop down next to it, it'll show you what the actual email address is, right? And then it's got like all kinds of weird jibber jabber on there, and you're just like, oh, I don't know who that. I'm not going to open that, because that's just one of those things that people, in working in a bank, that people are so, I don't even know what to use for the word, but they're just
alert on
No, they're not. They're
susceptible.
Not susceptible. They're just when people get scammed for money, right? They're just hurting. They're
They're
down
easy
on
to
their
prey on.
They're down on their luck, and they're just so ready for just anything, right? So they send out emails saying, "Hey, we have a job for you. I'll send you $1,500. You cash it. Send us, $250, and you can keep the rest."
Or you're looking on Craigslist for a job or a deal, and it's like, hey, I need some help, and that's whenever you can easily be opened up to a scam straight up.
Yeah, and then so they send you like a fake money order. You cash it.
Well, one came to me the other day through Facebook Messenger.
That's right, from my cousin.
Yeah.
So she does a lot of.
I screenshotted. I was like, I don't know your cousin that well, so is this real?
Yeah, and that was the other thing too. Is we sometimes try to post that. We've been a little busy, but we try to post like the latest scams that are going around.
Yeah.
But that is one thing that we want to tell anybody listening. If you see something that you don't, if there is one split second in you that you're like, oh, is this real? Google it.
Yeah.
or take a screenshot and email it to us. Find us on Facebook, send it through Messenger, text it. A lot of people have my cell phone number. It's listed on our websites.
It's listed on our website.
It's
Mine
just-
is.
We'll say no, don't open that,
don't
or
open
we'll
it.
let you know.
Yeah.
Let you know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we're doing this. We're actually looking into starting a page to where people can go and be like, "Hey, is this real? Hey, is this a thing?" Don't include your username and password. Obviously, don't put your social security number out there. But that's just one of those things that
People need help.
we're wanting to do. We're trying to combat that. Right? People are so easily tricked into these things because they're getting good. They're getting
Yeah.
good at tricking people and making things look legitimate.
I think we get comfortable with technology too.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is like, I change my passwords often enough that I don't really feel too bad about it. But there's some times where people just like, they have one email address, they have one password, and they probably haven't changed that password since they started their email address.
You have iPhones, right?
I have an iPhone and a OnePlus. So
Okay.
This is actually, so I also am a project manager for a construction company. My uncle owns a construction company. It's called SB Thomas.
Okay.
Construction. So we do things. So I have iPhone and I have Android.
So one thing that I've realized, I guess in the past couple years, is they do like suggested passwords and it can save it like on your phone.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll do that. I mean, that thing is secure. Like nobody's guessing that unless it's Apple guessing it itself.
It's a really good encryption.
Is that a good idea to use?
It is.
Just
As
be
long
careful
as,
where you store the password at.
well, yeah, yes and no. So like if Apple's really good about helping you get back into your account.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Google, not so much. If you forget your password, you're like, oh, well, what was your last one? You're like, well, I did that suggested password. I don't remember what the last one was either.
It's like 20 years ago.
Yeah, but there's an app out there that I love to use, and I give it to some of my clients who have a lot of username and passwords. It's called KeyPass, I believe is what it's called. You have one password and one username to get into that, and let's say you forget your email password. Well, you update that, right? So you're like, okay, well, I have a Gmail,
Yeah.
joesmith@gmail.com, and then you put your password in, and it locks it, and it's fully encrypted.
What about using like fingerprint and facial recognition? Is that a good idea? I
Yeah.
mean, I guess like on your phone, it seems.
Yeah, it is. But once you get onto your computer, because you're like, it's not working on my phone, you don't have fingerprint
Right.
on your computers. So that's just kind of one of those hit or miss things. But
Is technology going to start moving more that way, even like in business, like facial recognition stuff?
Microsoft has been doing it for ever since Windows 10 first came out. Even with Xbox, the facial recognition has been around for a while. Facial recognition and fingerprint has been around for ages for security. But when it comes to things for your computer to be more advanced and to be more accessible for the people who just, I don't need it because I'm trying to get into my safe. I just need it because I want to keep my computer safe.
Yeah.
That's been around for a little bit, but I recommend it because the technology is so advanced now that you're not going to be able to hold a picture up to it and it'd be like, oh, that's you.
Yeah.
There's heat signatures and curvature and
I was talking to Michael Matrenga. He's the head of executive director of security over all Texas City ISD schools. There's a lot. And he was mentioning they started using facial recognition at their graduations, football games. There's people that are like registered not to be able to attend schools, and just people, like even certain students are like they're on a questionable list or a wanted list, and they're on there.
Yeah.
And as they walk in, these cameras are hidden, and it looks for like it's pretty cool and advanced that they use that. And they've said, the instances where it's worked, and they've said, hey, you're not allowed to be here, or you're arrested for whatever reason.
I think there's two sides to that. It's a really great thing for security and everything, but it's also one of those things that gets.
But I don't like Big Brother.
Yeah, wrong. I don't. I am small government, conservative. So we do. And that's one thing that my dad was talking to me about that the other day. You guys have this business and you're all about technology and the newest, latest, greatest thing. Where do you see that going? Do you feel like it's going to infringe on your rights and all? Like, he just came at me with all these questions, but it is something that you do have to consider,
But also, if you're knowledgeable and and then if something is questionable and it's like, okay, then
Yeah.
at least you
Yeah,
know you're
that's
informed.
one of those
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
I mean, but you can end up on a list for anything these
Yeah.
days.
Mm-hmm.
And my thing is like, just don't do anything you're not supposed
Yeah.
to do, and you'll be okay.
Be good.
you
Y'all
know,
Y'all could use that technology like at the dog park where it's like this person is not picking up after themselves and their pet.
Oh, you know,
You are banned.
Yeah, that would be good. You know,
Unfortunately, a lot of people would be banned.
yeah.
It's just
kinda
y'all with the
sad.
3 dogs.
Just
We're the
yeah.
only ones left.
Where is everybody?
Nobody.
Yeah. They're all mad because we're spying on them now.
So we got about 6 minutes left. Can we? Is there anything that we haven't touched on that y'all would like to touch on? And then I guess what would y'all like to reemphasize? Is there anything else we haven't talked about yet?
One thing that we have been talking about is for this new year, starting up some local like webinars or seminar type things for small businesses and literally just starting your social media marketing, because a lot of people don't understand that Instagram is moving a lot quicker than Facebook is, and for certain businesses, Instagram is a lot better than Facebook. So we're thinking about doing some seminars, trying to figure out where we're going to do that at. You know, just something for whether you're a direct salesperson and you just got started in it, or you're even thinking about starting a business. Just kind of like a 101.
That's cool.
Things that I've learned through my years doing this.
Yeah, that's a great idea. You know, Instagram is a great tool, Facebook's a great tool. But they're not equal. They're owned by the same people,
Yeah.
but it depends on what you have, like what's your product, and how to
And
use it.
a lot of things that I do see as on my side of the business is these small businesses wanting to sell online, but not wanting to spend the money on a website for the e-commerce and the full-blown everything. Because we design websites, and I understand it's a lot of work, and unless you know what you're doing, you have to pay somebody to do it, and it can be really pricey. But there's different options. Like Eastwood is owned by the same company that owns Facebook, and it integrates into everything. And you know, there's a lot of different options that you don't have to spend a lot of money doing. You don't have to have a lot of knowledge or experience with getting your stuff online, and it's very user friendly. So, you know, we're looking at what we can do to try and get the word out there, just to help.
Yeah. So with SOS Tech's IT Business Solutions, we talked about you maybe doing some more like the security side. Is there anything else that you would like to expand in that you haven't gotten into yet? Like even in the horizon, like, oh, we can move in that as well.
Oh, I mean, we do voice over IP. So we do a lot of phones. I have distributors for phones. I have companies that handle all of that as well. So there's voice over IP. I'm actually working on a security license to get to start doing alarms.
Yeah.
So that's one of those things I'm doing.
Yeah.
As well. So, and I've got experience in all of the servers and the networking and the firewalls.
Cool.
So, but as far as things coming up, some of the things that I kind of want to get into for small homes is doing automated homes. You know, like the lights that you can
Smart
turn off
home.
and on. The smart home, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, raising your blinds up and down from your cell phone or whatever, you know. So that's kind of how things are moving too, and I'm starting to do seminars and webinars to really get into that aspect of things.
Yeah. Whenever you run into somebody that has a business and they still have like a landline, a lot of times people needed it, you know, like some years ago for like security, or it's like, well, I'm not changing. I don't like change.
Yeah.
And with voice over IP, which is pretty much just it's telephone, but through your internet.
Right.
And it's a lot, usually more affordable because they bundle it. And what I've seen, at least from the phone company, they're trying to get rid of all of those those lines.
Yeah.
You know, is there ever a case where it makes sense for people to keep their old landline instead of getting the
Fax.
voice over IP?
Right?
Yeah.
Fax.
I mean, well, even now fax is going. You can do digital faxing now. But what I do for people who have those landlines is 9 times out of 10, I usually keep those for like if they have elevators. That's kind of when I keep those. But now they even have the wireless.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're stuck with analog. You can get away from analog easily. I've actually moved quite a few companies away from analog. Moved them onto voice over IP because it's cheaper, it's more reliable, and people are like, oh, well, what if your internet goes down? I'm like, well, now they're supplying things. I can get people backup internet using AT&T or Verizon or T-Mobile, and it can support their phones and their internet.
Yeah. I don't know how many times, like if it was a switchover and people didn't understand fully like what it was, and like if it was like straight up, if it was a job and you didn't want to do it, it'd be like, so you can pay it in a way, and they're like, what?
Yeah.
I don't want this has changed. Like what's gonna happen? I'm like, yeah, this is correct. Like, sorry. I mean, if your power goes out, here's a backup battery, but it's gonna last for what, like 5 hours? You know, people are like, oh my gosh, what's going on? So. I don't know. It's bad. It's maybe bad a little bit. But, also you want the person to be aware, what they're getting as well. And there are instances where, like, and maybe it makes sense for you to have, the landline.
My mom still has hers.
Yeah.
It's an emergency thing. If we call it 3 times, she knows somebody's trying to get a hold of me, and we pick it up.
Yeah. Other than that, she probably doesn't answer. Like one call.
No. It's just telemarketers.
My parents, they got rid of their landline, but they had it for years, and my dad was a telephone man for like 40 years. And then... No, they stopped answering the phone. Nobody answers the phone anymore. Yeah, but they got a VoIP. I think they have a VoIP number anyways, but they still don't answer.
It's just so inexpensive now.
Yeah, it's in there.
Yeah.
It's in the bundle.
Yeah.
So, cool. Hey, can you remind everybody, how do they get a hold of you? And then, everything that you offer as well. And then also with Strawberry Hill, how they can find you and everything else.
Sure. So SOS Tech's IT Business Solutions. We're on Facebook, Instagram. We have our info and support emails on those. So if you just have questions, or you want us to come out and maybe help do an assessment for things, our phone number's on there. Our website is currently...
It's about to be launched.
Yeah, it was being reworked, so we're working on our website, revamping that. But yeah, Facebook, Instagram, Google. We're on Google, and my phone number's on there. So if you want to call, text, emails are really good. I like emails.
Yeah, reach
we
out.
Like paper trails.
Yeah,
get an assessment. That's always good. Like to get the reminder.
Yeah.
I was having a conversation with someone yesterday, and they were like, you said this, or I told you this. I was like, did you text it to me? Did you email it to me? Like, no. And I was like, well, I don't believe that we had this conversation. I'm sorry. I'm remembering it the way that I remember it, and that's not what we talked about.
Yeah.
So it's not my fault.
You can also book with us online on Facebook. You can book with us, and it goes directly to us. And most of the time, I'll just pick up the phone and be like, hey, this is the wife. Let me schedule with you. Let me get a hold of him. And then you can also get a hold of him through Strawberry Hill Unique Upcycling Boutique, which is my boutique in Lake City, and we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, everything. You name it, I'm on it. And we're located at 240 Park Avenue in Lake City.
All right. Well, hey, thank you guys for hanging out today.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
I appreciate y'all.
It's great.
Everybody, stay safe. I wonder if it's still raining outside. I think it's supposed to, like till around 12. So y'all be careful.
Will do.
And I did want to ask you this when you mentioned, with Ford and the dealership and then bring the Ford. Are you like a Ford loyal guy? Are you like a loyalty guy to the brand?
No. So I used to be Dodge because that's what my family's been. But I owned a Dodge, and it like crapped out on me after 3 years. And I was like, I'm never owning a Dodge ever again. I was like, that I'm done. And so I bought a Ford because I was working at the Ford dealership, and it's probably been this has been the best vehicle I've ever owned. I've owned Toyotas. I owned an Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme. That thing was a boat.
Yeah.
But that thing got flooded in Amarillo, crazy enough as it sounds.
One mentioned it doesn't rain.
Weather storm.
Yeah.
They don't know what to do with water up there. There's no drainage.
Put it in the cars.
It's hard packed dirt, so put it in the cars.
Well, I don't know what to do. It goes in here, right? And then I guess the other thing, because obviously you got, with the business, you got the iPhone, but then you also got, the Android phone. Yeah. And then also going into all of the different places, you probably have to be, what they're using already. Right. You kind of have to be adapted to all the products out there.
Yeah, this is a constantly learning field. We're constantly making sure that we are staying open to what's changing, what's new, how to work with this device, and how it integrates with that device. And so it gets fun. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
Cool.
You don't see too much of a change in iPhone, to be honest with you. So I had that for a couple of years, and I'm like, I don't know what they're going to do to really change it. But Android's always changing. There's always something new. There's so many different brands out there. So I got a brand that I'd never even heard of, but they're an up and coming, and they're called OnePlus. And so it's a fantastic.
Camera's really good on it.
Yeah, it's got an amazing camera on it. So we're also photographers, so
Mm-hmm.
I wanted something that if I needed to get a capture. That was the one thing we didn't really touch on. Just
The
real quick.
photography.
Yeah, we do photography and commercial photography, so real estate, headshots, things like that. So
Cool.
We do a lot. You kind of have to.
I'm well versed.
We're finding
Yeah.
that small businesses don't like to talk to this person and that person, and they need this person. It's just too many contacts. So if you can have one person that is a business solutions for you, whether it's ordering pens or getting pictures of your business uploaded online, we kind of just, we know how to do it all.
Make it work.
Yep.
All right. Well, again, thank you guys for hanging out.
Yeah, thank you.
This is
Thank
KHEA
you.
Radio, 99.5 FM. Stay dry. Be aware of your surroundings. Stay